Chimp Crazy star Tonia Haddix pleads guilty. Hidden Apes and PETA lawsuit. A breathtaking tale of deception and responsibility. Imagine being so captivated by a television star that you overlook the legal battle she's facing, only to find out she's been hiding chimpanzees in her home. Tonia Haddix, the star of the HBO docuseries Chimp Crazy, has found herself at the center of a storm, accepting responsibility for concealing apes in violation of federal court orders. This revelation has sparked a contentious debate, especially among animal rights activists. But here's where it gets complicated. Haddix's attorney says she has a deep emotional connection with these animals, much like many people do with their pets. But is this bond an excuse for breaking the law? In March, Haddix pleaded guilty to 3 felonies after falsely reporting the death of a chimpanzee named Tonka, which was later found living in her Missouri home. As part of her plea deal, she was allowed to remain free before her sentencing, provided she did not keep any more chimpanzees. However, on July 9th, authorities discovered another secret chimpanzee in a cage in her basement, leading to her arrest. One of her attorneys, Justin Gelfand, shared that Haddix suffered abuse both as a child and an adult, forming a strong bond with chimpanzees akin to the affection people have for their dogs or cats. While Gelfand emphasized that this history is not an excuse for her actions, it does provide context that is crucial during sentencing. This raises an important question. Should personal history factor into legal decisions? Haddix's legal troubles began with a lawsuit by the People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, PETA, and a subsequent consent decree that she allegedly breached. In 2021, a federal court ordered the removal of all chimpanzees from her property, and 6 were taken. However, Haddix claimed Tonka, a 7th ape, had died, only to be found living in a basement cage. Tonka was eventually relocated to a chimpanzee sanctuary in Florida. Furthermore, Haddix and her husband were ordered to pay $225,000 to cover PETA's legal fees, but according to PETA, this sum has not been paid. So, what does this say about accountability in animal welfare cases? PETA responded strongly to Haddix's actions, stating, "Unlike the chimpanzee she deprived of a real-life exercise and fresh air, Haddix had a choice in whether she ended up behind bars, and PETA trusts her willful deceit will be taken into account at her sentencing next month." This statement highlights the tension between personal attachment and legal responsibility. And this is the part most people miss: the debate over whether emotional connections with animals justify breaking laws. As the community awaits Haddix's sentencing in August, it's essential to consider both sides, her personal struggles and the legal implications of her actions. What do you think? Should personal experiences influence legal outcomes in cases like these? Share your thoughts. Chimp Crazy star Tonia Haddix jailed again. Secret chimp discovered in basement. Wigless star of Chimp Crazy faces bond revocation following arrest. In a shocking turn of events, a federal judge has decided to revoke the bond of Tonia Haddix, the star of the HBO docuseries Chimp Crazy, after her arrest on Saturday. This incident has raised eyebrows and sparked discussions about animal rights and legal accountability. Haddix, known for her vibrant personality and signature blonde wig, was taken into custody without her iconic hairstyle. The reason? She allegedly failed to pay legal fees mandated by the court to the animal rights organization PETA. This situation has left many questioning the responsibilities of individuals who own exotic animals. The arrest followed a raid on July 19, where federal agents reportedly uncovered an unregistered, mature female chimpanzee concealed in a cage within Haddix's home in Missouri. This discovery has led to serious legal repercussions for Haddix, as the judge ruled on Thursday that she had breached the conditions of her bond by harboring the chimp in her basement. Consequently, she will remain in custody until her sentencing, which is scheduled for August 7th, as reported by St. Louis Public Radio. Haddix's legal troubles are not new. In 2020, she was explicitly ordered never to own another chimpanzee. This latest incident comes after she pleaded guilty in March to 3 felony charges for misleading a federal judge regarding the fate of another chimp named Tonka. Haddix had previously claimed that Tonka, a chimp who starred in films like George of the Jungle and Buddy, had died just before authorities attempted to seize him in 2021 from her now-defunct breeding facility, the Missouri Primate Foundation. However, this narrative fell apart when Tonka was discovered alive in Haddix's basement in 2022. In a twist of irony, Haddix had boasted on Chimp Crazy, directed by Eric Goode of Tiger King fame, about deceiving the court and keeping Tonka hidden from authorities. This revelation led PETA to accuse her of perjury, which ultimately resulted in her guilty plea. On July 19, authorities found a second chimp in the same residence where Tonka had been kept. Suspicion arose when pre-trial service officers conducted an unannounced visit in April and discovered what they believed to be fresh chimpanzee dung, indicating that Haddix might still be housing the animal. In addition to violating her bond conditions, Haddix is also accused of breaking state laws by failing to register the chimp, as reported by St. Louis Public Radio. Fortunately, PETA has confirmed that the chimp has been safely confiscated. Federal guidelines suggest that Haddix could face a sentence ranging from 10 to 16 months. But incidents, however, prosecutors are advocating for a more severe punishment of 4 to 5 years, citing her bond violations as a significant factor in their recommendation. Brittany Peet, general counsel for the PETA Foundation, expressed her outrage, stating, "Tonia Haddix has once again disregarded court orders and confined a highly social chimpanzee in a cramped basement cage, devoid of companionship, proper care, or even the chance to bask in sunlight." She emphasized that Haddix will likely continue to harm animals unless she faces a substantial prison sentence. PETA is urging the court to impose the harshest possible penalty. As this case unfolds, it raises critical questions about the treatment of animals in captivity and the legal responsibilities of their owners. What do you think? Should Haddix face a lengthy prison sentence for her actions, or do you believe there are mitigating factors to consider? Share your thoughts in the comments. Chimp Crazy star Tonia Haddix arrested. Another secret chimp found in a shocking turn of events. Chimp Crazy star Tonia Haddix, a well-known exotic animal broker, has been arrested, adding another layer of controversy to her already tumultuous legal battles. This arrest comes just days after authorities discovered another chimpanzee hidden in the basement of her Missouri home. Haddix, who is currently entangled in a high-profile lawsuit with People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, PETA, was taken into custody on Saturday, according to NBC News. The arrest is tied to a contempt of court ruling, which was issued after Haddix and her husband allegedly failed to comply with court-ordered financial obligations to PETA. A judge had previously ordered the couple to pay PETA nearly $225,000 in fees and costs associated with their prolonged legal dispute. Haddix was briefly detained at the Camden County Jail, but was released the following day. This latest incident is just one in a series of legal and ethical challenges Haddix has faced. In March, she pleaded guilty to lying to a federal judge about the fate of a famous chimpanzee named Tonka, who starred in popular films like Buddy and George of the Jungle. Haddix had claimed that Tonka had died and been cremated, but investigators later found him alive and well in her basement. As a result, Tonka was removed from her care and placed in a sanctuary. And here's where it gets controversial. Despite her previous legal troubles, Haddix was found to be in possession of yet another chimpanzee, a female, who was discovered in a cage in the basement during a search warrant execution on July 9th. According to an FBI affidavit, authorities believe the cage was the same one previously used to house Tonka. Prosecutors argue that Haddix's actions in harboring another chimp are a clear violation of her conditions of release. They contend that her behavior shows a lack of remorse and a continued defiance of the court's authority. By possessing and concealing another chimpanzee in the basement of her residence, despite this court's orders and warnings, defendant has shown no remorse for her criminal conduct and has continued to challenge and defy this court's authority, the memorandum states. PETA, which has been a vocal critic of Haddix's actions, expressed hope that her recent jail time would serve as a wake-up call. PETA trusts this jail time will be just a taste of the longer sentence she'll face next month, the organization stated. PETA has also accused Haddix of repeatedly dodging the court's orders to repay the money she owes. The saga of Tonia Haddix and her legal battles has been documented in HBO's 4-part series Chimp Crazy, which aired last year. The series provided a behind-the-scenes look at her custody dispute with PETA over several chimps, including Tonka, who mysteriously vanished in 2021 while under her care. During a virtual court appearance in January 2022, Haddix broke down in tears, claiming that Tonka had died and been cremated. However, in the HBO series, she admitted to the audience that Tonka was still alive and that she had deceived the court. PETA used footage from the HBO series as evidence in their ongoing legal battle against Haddix, further complicating her case. The discovery of another chimp in her basement has only intensified the scrutiny and criticism she faces from animal rights advocates and the public. What do you think? Should Haddix face harsher penalties for her repeated violations, or is there room for leniency? Share your thoughts in the comments below.